Hello and welcome to She Plays Weekly. I'm Preston Bradsher. Let's get into what's happening in women's sports this week. Big news this week, Naomi Osaka is starting at Empire. She announced new skincare and swimwear lines on Wednesday, and Monday she was named a co-chair of this year's Met Gala. I don't know what she'll do next, but safe to say that if this empire keeps growing, anything is possible. The NWSL Challenge Cup final is on Saturday, with the Portland Thorns facing off against Gotham FC. If you had plans for Saturday afternoon, go ahead and cancel them. We're talking about Crystal Dunn, Becky Sauerbrunn, and Lindsey Horan versus Midge Purce, Carly Lloyd, and now Allie Long. We don't miss games like that in this house. The Women's Hockey World Championships have been rescheduled for August 20th through 31st. There's still no word on a venue, which makes me more than a little bit nervous, but you know what? I'll take it. At least the IIHF is keeping its word here, which may be more about self-preservation than anything else. I wouldn't want to be on Hillary Knight's bad side either. It was a battle of the French Open champions on Monday when Ashley Barty triumphed over Iga Swiatek to advance to the quarterfinals at the Madrid Open. This was such a good game, and Barty tweeted afterwards that, quote, "That was the first of many, I'm sure." Is it good sportsmanship or a threat? Personally, I'm hoping for the latter, but stay tuned, I guess. The NWHL announced this week that they are doubling their salary cap to $300,000 per team, which is hopefully a sign of good things to come for the league. And speaking of good things in the NWHL, Michaela Grant-Mentis won 4 awards this week, including MVP and Newcomer of the Year. She carried the Toronto Six on her back this season, and may I say, her taste in movies is also stellar. And finally, last month's NCAA Volleyball National Championship drew 696,000 viewers on ESPN2. Meanwhile, on plain old ESPN last week, the Mets-Cubs game got only 630,000 viewers. Tell me again about how there's no demand for women's sports on TV. We have got a great show for you tonight. Our very own Ashley Hart is here. Plus, we'll talk about a huge new deal for the WNBA. But before we get to that, this week, Pine Valley, which is apparently one of the best golf courses in the U.S., voted to allow female members for the first time in its 108 years of existence. How in 2021 are there still men-only clubs? For more on that, let's take a deep dive. Believe it or not, there are still golf clubs out there that don't allow women. Is that even legal, you might ask? Well, yes, unfortunately it is. Because these golf clubs are private membership clubs, they are by definition not open to the public. Any laws that prohibit discrimination only apply to public entities, so they get to keep their little no girls allowed treehouse. Historically, golf is one of the very first sports to be played by women. So how is it so behind? I guess the only plausible explanation is rich white men. In the beginning, Lord Moncrief, whoever that is, decided that women shouldn't hit a golf ball any further than 70 yards. I assume because he was tired of being outdriven by them. The men of the R&A later put a putting green next to the old course in St. Andrews called the Himalayas, so the women could putt while the men played golf. Cute. That was fun and all, but the women were more into smashing a ball down the fairway, so they formed the Ladies Golf Union in 1893. When they were told by Horace Hutchinson, a golf amateur they went to for advice and a real gem, that, quote, "Women never have and never can unite to push any scheme to success," it only added fuel to the fire, and the first British Women's Championship was held that very same year. From there, the women's game only grew, and yet all of these prestigious golf clubs stood firm. Even the wives of professional golfers were forbidden, and most clubs didn't even have women's restrooms. And don't even get me started on the discrimination black women faced. Tennis legend Althea Gibson, who was also the first black woman to play on the LPGA Tour, often had to dress for play in her car because she wasn't allowed to stay in hotels or enter clubs during tournaments. But women fought back, as they do, and things got better on the course and among the clubs. But still, the white men couldn't get it together. In 2012, let me say that again, in 2012, Fox News' Brian Kilmeade said, quote, "Women are everywhere. We're letting them play golf and tennis now." What century are you living in, sir? To be fair, he is on Fox News, so I guess 1865. And it wasn't just Kilmeade. There's way more where that came from, but I won't subject you to that today because I like you. Okay, maybe one more. In 2014, Wheatley Hills Golf Club asked the female general manager to stock the men's locker room with adult magazines and the female servers to wear skimpy outfits. Wheatley Hills is a men only club, though, do I even have to say? I'm not making this stuff up. Luckily, women have been pushing back against the nonsense, and they've had a lot of success. When the manager at Wheatley Hills sued for gender discrimination, she won. When former PGA president Ted Bishop made sexist remarks, he was dismissed within 24 hours. And after people protested against Augusta National Golf Club for being a holdout member of the We Hate Ladies Club, they finally gave in and opened their doors to women in 2012. Can we call that progress? The good news is major tournaments now bypass the private clubs who discriminate, so there is a bit of an incentive to change. But the good old boys still have to put it to a vote, and we all know what happens when we leave the voting up to them, so I'm not going to hold my breath. That was your deep dive. We'll be right back with Ashley Hart. Our guest tonight is the founder of She Plays and the reason that we're all here, and I'm so excited to finally get to introduce her on the show. So Ashley, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
I'm so excited. This is like, it's like the mom is coming to the show. Like you're the reason we're here. She Plays is the reason that She Plays Weekly exists, and now
I did bring orange
like
slices. I brought orange slices and a cooler. Yeah, we're good to go.
Dude, I miss that.
Halftime
I miss
snacks.
those orange slices. Oh my goodness. I
Mm-hmm.
quit soccer pretty early in life, but I miss that. All right. So you're the founder of She Plays, like I said, and people who watch the show might not know much at all about the larger organization because we're just kind of doing our own thing over here. So first of all, what is it? Can you tell me a little bit about She Plays?
Yeah, so we're a platform that promotes women in sports, people who work in the realm of women's sports. So not necessarily just women, but yeah, we're trying to bridge the gap of attention that women's sports are given. You know, I think the statistic that comes out is women get 4% of sports media attention, even though they're over half of the athletes in the country. And so, yeah, it all kind of stemmed from a wanting to make that number grow and finding ways to do that. So we're a platform that has media, news, podcasts. We have 3 podcasts that we run every week, and we're building a fantasy sports app so that we can finally have fantasy sports, like your typical NFL, get your buddies and you have a draft night, that kind of thing. We're bringing that to women's sports. So yeah, that's She Plays in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I've seen samples of that fantasy app, and I am very excited for that to launch because it's going to be really, really fun. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's really everything. We're doing writing, we're doing podcasts, like you said, we're doing fantasy sports, we're doing this. There's a lot going on, and the whole point is visibility. I just like to know, like, what led you into creating She Plays? Like, what's the story of how you got here?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan and an athlete myself, but I think it was really stemmed around after the World Cup in 2015 and really learning about the fight for equal pay. I mean, just being old enough to now like really understand the inequality there. And then I was in North Carolina trying to watch the Orlando Pride game for the NWSL, and it was like impossible to find. I just like couldn't find a TV channel to watch it on, and the stream was not super great. So I was like, this is still a problem. Like, they just won the World Cup. How many Olympics have they won? This is just a problem. And so I actually like did research and found that 4% number. And then on top of that, I actually went into a Barnes and Noble because I was like, okay, let's test this out. Let's see how many sports magazines there are. You know, Barnes and Noble has that little section, the magazine
Yeah,
section.
yeah.
I was like, so I'm just gonna start going back there. And I went and I counted up how many magazines it was. It was like over 35, and one had a female on the cover. I was like, of all the sports magazines, like it's still this low. It really is this low. And so it just kind of stemmed from that of I'm a big like social justice advocate. So there's a piece of that of like wanting to make change and make something better. I had a new niece as well. And it was like, well, why should she be penalized and not have the potential future of being a professional athlete just because she's a girl? You know, if I had a nephew, it would be no issue. So
Yeah.
it all stemmed from there, just wanting to um, really make a difference. And as a fan, have that access.
Yeah, and we know, I mean, I know from all the conversations we've had, but also just in general, that visibility is everything. And people love to, I mean, on the internet, obviously, people love to be like, oh, well, show me the ratings and then maybe we'll pay the women. And I'm like, it's the opposite of that, right? Could you talk a little bit about that, like how that works?
Yeah, I mean, until you give people the opportunity to be broadcast, no one's going to be able to tune in. And I think what's really amazing, Dr. David Barry, he's a professor out west, economics professor, and he teaches a lot about gender inequality and economics and in sport particularly. And to compare leagues, even like the WNBA is, surpassing what the NBA was doing back in its same age, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, and we're seeing that when you do put women on air, people are tuning in record numbers. So I think that that argument is, I mean,
Can it die already?
I know. It's
Like,
just,
get a new line, guys. Come on.
and you can't see full investment or, real growth as far as like revenue coming in until you put in the investment. The initial investment is so important. But we've seen again that when you do that, women make money. It's a wise investment. So we just need people with the resources to do it. Because even on our side of things, coming in and trying to make a fantasy sports app, all the stats production is still really, really
It's far
low.
behind. It's hard to
Yeah.
find.
Yeah. It's, making a fantasy app for women's sports takes 3 extra steps than if you were making one for men's sports. So, across the board, there's been a lack of investment, but we're starting to see it creep in and it's going to explode. I'm excited.
Yeah, people are getting wise finally.
Mm-hmm.
So just finally, what are your hopes for the future of She Plays? Plus, also, what do we have coming up with She Plays that we should be excited about?
Yeah, I mean, my hope is that we do continue to grow and we continue to give people opportunities to be in the sports world as a career, different voices, different backgrounds, different opinions. I mean, it's all important that we hear from all sorts of folks who are interested in sports and their different takes on things. So I'm really wanting to just continue expanding the coverage, but very excited again, like me selfishly, for the fantasy app. Like I can't wait to draft, Rose Lavelle and be like, she's on my team and not yours, suckers.
I'm
So
going to be making everyone I know play. I don't care if I have so many like theater friends in my life and they're about to learn about women's sports because I'm like, it's right here. It's an app. It's easy.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and truly, and sorry if this is not answering your question, but like my dream has always been that I'll walk into a sports bar and overhear people talking about Sam Kerr or Rose Lavelle or, just people that, if you're a fan of the sport and like invest, but like there's so many athletes that we know, male athletes that we know just because they're on TV and we like hear their name a lot, right? I want that for female athletes. And so that's the dream. Like you would just stumble upon a conversation of people talking about the Ultimate Frisbee League because they saw it on TV, right?
And then it wouldn't be weird
Right.
to see that out in the wild.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then, so we've got the fancy app coming out soon. And then we also have a podcast we've been working on for quite a while. It's like a documentary podcast about the earliest professional female basketball players in the country. So we're hoping to have that out this WNBA season. It's the Barnstorming ladies. They're incredible. I got to meet some of them before COVID started, and I just can't wait to tell their story. I'm just honored to be a part of it. So keep your eye out for that as well.
Yeah, definitely watch out for that one. I'm really excited about that one too. I know a lot about it, but I haven't got to hear it yet. So I'm like waiting with everybody else. All right, well, we are going to be back a little bit later with more from Ashley, and we're going to face off in a brand new game. So stick around.
The WNBA announced a huge new partnership with Google on Monday. The company will be a WNBA changemaker and a presenting partner for the WNBA's 25th season. It's a multi-year partnership that the league says will focus on marketing initiatives, community-driven programming, and Google product experiences for fans. The goal across the board is to elevate the league and women's sports in general, and Google has actually been really upfront about their goal to make their media buy more equitable between men's and women's sports.
This is awesome because obviously Google is huge, like scary huge. So that kind of power behind a women's league could make some real inroads. Google is presenting 25 regular season WNBA games on ESPN as part of the partnership, which brings the total number of nationally broadcast games up to 100. Google also has an agreement with ESPN as a part of the partnership to show a highlight reel of women's sports moments on SportsCenter every week. Since Google is getting into women's sports, maybe we'll finally see some improvement on the total absurdity that is women's sports Google searches. You know what I'm talking about. It's what happens when you search NWHL and Google says, "Did you mean NHL?" So you type NWHL women and Google says, "Did you mean NHL?" So you type National Women's Hockey League. "Please, dear God, can I just see a single woman, please?" And Google says, "Did you mean NHL?" And then you throw your computer out the window. You know, that. Honestly, as infuriating as it is, I also find it a little bit charming. I think I might miss it when Google finally gets wise and fixes its search results. So I thought we could reminisce a little bit before Google joins the rest of us in the land where women's sports exist. So, for old time's sake, I'd like to present Hall of Shame. Alright, let's start with something current. The WNFC started last Saturday, and I want to know how the newbies did. So let's search WNFC rookies, and we get, "Did you mean NFL rookies?" The nerve. I have never meant NFL rookies, and I'm not going to start now. Okay, different league. Let's search NWHL rookies. And, oh, look at all these suggestions. Wait. Yep, all of those say NHL, every one of them. Okay, moving on. Let's try something subjective. I'm curious. All right, best NWHL player. Oh, look, women. Wait, no. Nope, 3 out of 5 of those are not NWHL players. Fine, let's change gears. Something generic, maybe. Let's see what happens when we just search NCAA tournament. That can mean anything, right? Lots of sports, lots of tournament. Yep, men's basketball. Shocker. All right. Let's try a big question. Greatest athletes. All athletes, right? It's gotta be all athletes. Okay, all men, plus Serena Williams, 3 pages into the results. Maybe something more objective? Soccer players. Can't mess that up, right? Especially in the US. The women's players are way more famous in general. Here's something new. I'm just kidding, it's men. Let's scroll through. Okay, men. Aha, we got one. It only took 6 pages of scrolling. All right, one more try. Let's search a tournament that's happening right now, the Madrid Open. This is a real search I did yesterday when we were writing the show, by the way. I just wanted to know the quarterfinal schedule. That's not too much to ask, right? All right, Madrid Open. Okay, there's the men's schedule, cool. It's co-ed tournament though. Fine, okay, I'll literally spell it out for you. Madrid Open women. Well, at least I don't have to throw my computer this time, because you know what? There's hope. Get in there and let people know that women's sports exist, Google. I'm rooting for you. I really am. That was Hall of Shame. We'll be right back with Ashley Hart. All right, we are back with Ashley Hart. Ashley, you and I work together every day, and our work with She Plays spans across like every sport you can think of. We do, everything from soccer to ultimate frisbee, like you said. So tonight we've got a new game for you. We're going to test it out, and it's going to let us have a little bit of fun with whatever sports knowledge that we have accumulated working at She Plays.
Love it.
So this game is called Quick Debates. It's exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to present a topic, and we are going to have a debate, not a very formal debate, but this is women's sports and we're thinking folks, so we're gonna do our best. It's gonna be 3 rounds of 20 seconds each, so we'll get to go back and forth trying to make our point. Pretty simple. At the end of the game, we're gonna put the question to social media to decide who the winner was.
Love it.
All right, sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, so here is our topic. Who would be better at playing soccer, an ice hockey player or a figure skater?
Ooh.
So which one would you like?
I would like ice hockey player.
All right. So I'm going to take figure skater. And would you like to go first or second? You're the
Ooh,
guest.
second, always second.
Yeah, it's probably.
Thanks for letting me pick.
Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, it's fine. All right, here we go. I'm going to put 20 seconds on the clock. I'm going to be our timekeeper, so we're going to do our best.
Good luck. I mean, good luck.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, I got to quickly prepare a little bit here. Okay, I'm ready. Here we go. Quick debates and go. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, figure skaters obviously have the advantage over hockey players when it comes to soccer. Think first of all about how important the header is to soccer. Could a hockey player jump up and get that header? No, a figure skater can jump so high. They have so much power. They absolutely have the advantage on headers, and that's a huge advantage in soccer. Time.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The hockey players are incredibly strong, both in their thighs. So the header thing I think is, same, but upper body, like soccer is a violent sport. Like we've seen yellow cards, red cards this season already. They are ready to bring the fight to the pitch.
Time. All right. Fair. I'll give you headers. We can call that a wash. Fine. But let's talk about speed. People think that hockey players are faster, but let me tell you, that's not true. The speed you have to reach as a figure skater to get off and do those kind of jumps is massive. And they have the kind of crazy power that could absolutely give them advantage on the soccer field. Time.
I'm going to say Kendall Coyne Scuffield would have some words, but I would also say that hockey is a team sport, just like soccer. Figure skating, not so much. Maybe you have one pair, but hockey is a team sport. You learn how to read where your teammates are, how to anticipate their moves, how to work together, passing, dribbling, all that stuff. So I'm going to say the team sport, they get the nod.
All right. And well, my last point, ladies and gentlemen, finesse. Hockey players have no finesse. They're just bonking into each other. Come on. And then you've got figure skaters, incredible body control. Picture them trying to fake somebody out, pull the ball around somebody. Absolutely, they would have the advantage over a hockey player who's used to just smashing their way through.
I'll give you that. That I would actually love to see that. But I think another point in favor of hockey players is that they play 60-minute games. A figure skating routine might be 3 minutes long for the long program, and no hate to figure skaters, but I just think hockey players have the stamina. They have the endurance to play 90 minutes on a pitch in the sun potentially. So I'm gonna say the stamina is another check for hockey player.
All right. Hey, that was pretty dang close to our time limits here. I'm impressed. That was hard,
but that was fun.
That's fun. It's a lot to try to squeeze into 20 seconds.
Yeah, and to think, especially indoor sport, outdoor sport. Anyway, that was really fun.
It's a lot to think about. I feel like there's a lot of editions of this we could do. There's a lot of thought experiments to be had. We're going to have to maybe come back to this one.
Yeah, maybe folks can vote and then also give us their reasons why. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your opinions on this. So yeah, vote. Let us know who you think the winner was. We will put that up on Twitter and Instagram after the show tonight. So we would love to hear from you. Ashley, thank you so much for being here. This was so fun. That's our show, everybody. So you can check out She Plays on social media. It's at She Plays Pro, or you can check out our website. That's she-plays.com. Thank you so much for watching She Plays Weekly. We'll see you next week.